the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About newspaper. This is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Hello and welcome to Out and About Today. I'm Brent Meredith. We've got a lot on the agenda tonight. Pam has a look at the upcoming HRC dinner fundraiser, and Chuck gets an exclusive sit-down with the Tennessean's opinion engagement editor. But first, I'm joined by Chuck and Pam and our good friend James from Out and About Nashville for tonight's buzz. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to see you. Good to be here. So we're in February. We're still talking about marriage, okay? Our good friend David Fowler over in Williamson County wasn't but a day after the Natural Marriage Act kind of finally got squashed that he has filed a lawsuit. The Family Action Council has, basically putting the Williamson County clerk in a position of not being able to, or he's saying that, well, there's a picture of him there, but let's look at him for a second. Okay. Saying the Williamson County clerk cannot perform their obligated duties to uphold the Tennessee Constitution because of the situation. I don't want to talk anymore. You're over nodding your head, James. Tell me what you think about all of this.
You know, I think it's one way to strike back. You can't legislate hate anymore, so you have to create an environment that is so uncomfortable for people that they flee. I think that these people are un-American, and I think that they're theocrats.
That is plain. Okay, Pam?
Well, I think they're against, I'll say gay marriage, even though we know it's all marriage, right?
Right.
And so this is how you keep rallying your peeps.
Yeah.
You do things, it gets in the news, we talk about it here, which they're not watching our show, but that's how you keep the fire going for this anti-gay.
Right, and are we keeping the fire going because of the election cycle, Chuck? I mean, what do you
Well,
think?
I think it's political, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, how long it's going to continue going on. Because
Yeah.
after this election cycle, I wonder if it will be as fierce as it is now. But it may, because it's a rallying cry.
Yeah.
It will. We talk about pro-life, pro-choice. Still, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a comparison that we often use, is that we've been talking about that since the late 70s. I mean, we're going to continue.
Yeah.
Is this going to be on for the next 30 years?
People still burn crosses and burn churches. I think they're going to keep their fire going for a long time.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good
I'm just
point.
curious to see what the next item on the agenda, which truly this is an agenda, is after this fails. So, I mean, you know, anyway. But this does lead into sort of a positive note on marriage. Nancy Van Rees, one of our council members who was on the show here recently, she has submitted a resolution requesting that the Davidson County delegation comply with this Supreme Court ruling, there's a shocker, and oppose the Tennessee General Assembly legislation not in compliance. Now, I spoke with Nancy just the other day about this, and she's asking our viewers, of course, to contact their council members and vote on this. I believe the vote is coming up the 16th of this month, so some of you may be catching this after the fact, but if you're seeing this beforehand, please reach out and tell them to vote for this. What do you guys think of this? I mean, do you think, it is kind of redundant, but do we need this redundancy, Chuck?
I think so. I think it's a vote of confidence.
Right.
You know, now this is, you know, it's a fundamental right that we have, and I think you need to stand up and, again, kind of support this and keep that in the forefront.
What about James?
In the face of all these other things, I think it's important to sort of thumb our noses at them. you
Yeah,
know.
fair point. Pam?
Yeah, and we like to see the list of the folks who've already come out and support it, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that beforehand. We like that, so.
Well, it does. It provides an opportunity to have that vote and to see, you know, where do people stand, or are they voting at all? Enough about that, okay? We've talked about this for months. Let's move on to something a little bit more interesting, something we don't often talk about. Bisexuals. They're the B in the LGBTQI. There's been a new CDC report that finds more men are identifying as bisexual, and there's a little diagram for you if you're unclear as what bisexual means. Someone who's attracted to both men and women, or to more than one gender identity. That seems pretty self-explanatory. But researchers asked more than 9,000 people in the United States aged 18 to 44 about their types of sexual experiences. And the numbers were up. It said more women reported having had sexual contact with other women, 17.4% over the last question, or the last study, which was in 2010. 14.2%, 5.5% of women and 2% of men said that they had, compared with 3.9 and 1.2. Again, we're seeing those numbers rise. We've talked a little bit about this on here before, but why are we seeing that? What's the reason there, James? You're shaking your head.
You know, I think that people are getting more emboldened to admit their past, especially on these anonymous surveys, because it's still hard on anonymous surveys to get people to.
Well, do you think it's a nature-nurture situation, though, here? Like, you know, are more people actually bisexual, or are they more because of the way they've been nurtured and feeling it's okay to talk about it?
Well, I think I wouldn't use that term because I think it confuses the identity, nature, and nurture issue versus.
Fair point.
So, yeah, I think that there's a condition where it's easier for people to come out about it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, we were talking earlier about some of the traditional, I think bisexual people face a double push away, right?
Yeah.
If you come out as bisexual, straight people sometimes reject you for being gay, while the gay community might reject you as, you know, having your foot in both worlds.
Undecided.
Or you know, not being willing to come out.
Well, and Pam and I were talking earlier too. You had a point to make.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I bet more celebrities came out as bisexual, and that's what did it.
That's
Well, I mean, it's a great
I'm
point.
serious.
Yeah.
Chuck, you're in the celebrity world.
Well, but maybe it's for them it was an easier way to do it. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, rather than coming out with the full Monty. And yet, that's a great point though, as far as whether you're gay, whether you're bi, that's just the way that you identify yourself. And so it should be something that hopefully people can accept.
And I think when we characterize it as not willing to be taking the plunge, that we sort of minimize it as something that actually occurs.
Yeah, fair point. Now, we only got a couple minutes left. We got 2 more topics. I want to get to this. Speakeasy is coming back around. This is the CARES fundraiser. Have you guys been to Avant-Garde in the last few years?
I have.
Oh, you have? Yeah.
I have.
Are you guys planning to go this year, you think? We got a little graphic up there.
Definitely,
Yes, for
definitely
sure.
will be
Well,
there this
apparently
year.
it's a secret location, so we don't know where we're going just yet. But and I think that's playing into the theme. So it says guests will enjoy a twist on the Roaring '20s. There's going to be dancing and music as before. NationalCares.org/speakeasy, and that's coming back around. I believe. Where's my date here? Is it actually on there? Saturday. Yeah, February 27th is when it is. So mark your calendars. And lastly, we've got a minute left. I want to turn it over to James. What's coming up in the February issue of the paper, James?
We're definitely featuring the NHL hockey night with the Preds, and we brought some fans down to Bridgestone and did a photo shoot with
How
them.
did that go? I noticed.
We had a lot of people show up, and it was hard to organize because we had a large group of people. So we got some nice photos.
There's the cover there.
So we're actually talking even more broadly about hockey and the way that hockey has kind of, in a certain funny way, led the way in supporting LGBT people with the You Can Play and the rainbow tape for their.
Well, I was just going to say the rainbow tape the Oilers did, but it was kind of on a personal crusade to get the Predators to do that here. I don't know if it'll happen or not. We'll see.
The owner of the Preds, the co-owner of the Preds, was the first team owner to do a You Can Play video, and so there's a lot of support here, I think.
Well, cool. We got to get out of here. I'm sorry you guys didn't get to comment on that. But when we come back, Pam has your look at the upcoming HRC dinner, so stay with us.